we witnessing a political smokescreen? What does the just ended Youth Day mean, which was held in Bulawayo, to the young Zimbabweans today? And most importantly, how should citizens, especially the youth, respond to the growing regression, especially the issues around Gaza and the economic hardships? So today I might start with you, maybe Comrade ZF, so that you help us to dissect and having another microscopic view on these issues. And I understand that your analysis and whatever you're going to do is going to unpack, is going to give it clear to everyone and to our listeners. So with that, maybe I would want you to give us maybe a brief introduction of yourself, and you might as well respond to the question that I'm going to ask you. It's up to you, Conrad.
Thank you very much, my brother Tanaka. Obviously, I want to be a very young person. As a Zimbabwean, I speak everywhere, wherever there's opportunity to speak. So there's a lot that you have just said that I'm interested in as a Zimbabwean. I'm not very young. I'm someone who is very active in Zimbabwe politics. And I'm very keen and I follow with interest what is going on in our country. I hope that we're going to have more young people on this platform to discuss these issues, because it's the young people who should be shaping the future, and the future is not tomorrow. The way we can predict the future is to plan it, to create it. So if we let the old Madalas of ZANU-PF create our future, that's the future we're going to have. So we do have an opportunity as Zimbabweans, of which most of us are young, to define our future. So the issues that are currently that you highlighted, they are of importance, particularly when you talk about the USAID funding freeze, because that's affecting people, Zimbabweans, directly today, not tomorrow. And I see that my brother Bruce Moyo is here, so hopefully he will be able to rescue me. However, what I would encourage everyone on this platform to do right now is to share this space. It's going to be very short and sweet, pegged with a lot of relevant information that we should be sharing as Zimbabweans wherever we are in Zimbabwe and across the world. So the more Zimbabweans participate, the better, because these are issues that affect Zimbabweans directly today, not tomorrow. If you not on ARVs, you have a relative, you have a friend who is on ARVs. So what does the USAID funding freeze mean for those relatives, friends, church members that you know of? We need to talk about it as Zimbabweans and what can be done to make life better for those Zimbabweans, because we know that the ZANU-PF administration, they have literally neglected the country. They have outsourced our healthcare to organizations like USAID, CEDA, and other organizations who are willing to donate towards our healthcare system. And I understand at some points in Zimbabwe, probably 60% of our healthcare budget is probably funded by organizations like USAID and others. So that's a very topical issue. And should we continue like that, maybe this USAID freeze is a wake-up call for Zimbabweans to ask more of the ZANU-PF administration. We would want an ideal government, but we don't have it at the moment. At the same time, it doesn't mean that we should let our people die when they can be saved. So these are very important issues, my brother Tanaka, and the Geza issue is really for young people. People like me, we are old Madalas.
Sorry to just interfere there, comrade.
Sure.
I like what you said. So I think we need to unpack the Geza issue separately. So right now, allow me to introduce Comrade Bruce so that you touch a little bit of what you just said, then you continue to the Geza issue. Thank you very much on that.
You're welcome,
Councillor Bruce, how are you? Sure. Councillor Bruce, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Thank you so much. Am I audible enough?
Yes, you may go ahead. So, Councillor Bruce, I already introduced you, but now, maybe for the benefit of those that don't know you or that have joined earlier on, Councillor Bruce Moyo is a youthful politician who is also a youth leader, who is also a former student leader from one of the very important associations by the name ZINASU, or the Zimbabwe National Students Union. So, Councillor Bruce, welcome to the platform. Meet the citizens of Zimbabwe as you are going to unpack some of these issues, some of the current social, economic, and political tensions in the motherland of our nation. So the first question that I might ask you, Councillor Bruce, is that there was this issue of 21st February, which was a youth day, which was originally derived from the Mugabe's birthday. As a youth leader from Mativele land, as a youth leader from Zimbabwe, what is significant does this day hold for an ordinary young person in Zimbabwe today? Councillor Bruce.
Thank you very much, my brother, for that question. Am I audible enough?
Yes.
First and foremost, you see, there's nothing for young people without the young people. You can't set an agenda for someone without involving or including or consenting with that particular person. Therefore, this 21 February mantra of Youth Day, it never came from the young people of Zimbabwe. It was an agenda formed by ZANU-PF to celebrate the birthday of their former president, Robert Gabriel Mugabe. May he so rest in peace. So it never reflected young people, because look, there's nothing to celebrate as young people in Zimbabwe. Yes, we are the majority in terms of the population, but we are the minority in terms of influence in governance structures. We are the minority in terms of the economic opportunities. We are the minority in terms of accessing quality decolonized education. We are the minority in society in terms of owning land and other relevant things that we are supposed to own. Because you look at this country, when our forefathers fought for it, the very much fundamental thing was to make sure that we have equal opportunities in terms of even also ownership of land, in terms of, or even also of benefiting from the minerals that are being mined. But look, what is happening right now? These people are smuggling our minerals, they're destroying our country in the expense of the future of young people, benefiting themselves and their girlfriends from respective areas. So there was nothing to celebrate. It's not a youth day. To us, it's a sad day. We mourn the economic crackdown in the country. We mourn the oppression and violation of human rights in country. So there's nothing to celebrate. They came to Bulawayo. They intended to host that program in Baba Field Stadium, and we clearly told them that the people of Zimbabwe, young people of Zimbabwe, they don't reflect to these shenanigans type of programs that you formulate. No one wanted to go there. They end up changing the venue to a hall of ZITF. They failed even to feel that, or to show that young people are not happy. Young people, they don't reflect. There's nothing to celebrate. Instead, we are mourning and we are governing ourselves to make sure that we organize the best and make sure that we secure our future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Bruce. We appreciate your contribution under this. Then coming to you, Comrade ZF. We just talked about the Geza issue. The recent Geza issue where the war veteran Blessed Geza publicly called for Mr. Mnangagwa's resignations. This suggests the growing discontent even within the ZANU-PF traditional support base. Reports for the threats against Geza's family and the journalist, particularly Blessed Mhlanga, Bidara, everyone knows him, and his colleagues. And then for covering the matter raises some serious concern. This journalist was facing some threats only because he was doing his work of covering issues, current issues. He's a journalist, everyone knows that. So what does this say about the state of democracy and the political freedom in Zimbabwe today? How should the opposition, particularly the youth, respond to such repression? Comrade ZDF.
Thank you, Tanaka. Very important question that you are asking. So, first of all, the majority of Zimbabwean citizens agree with Comrade Geza's call for peaceful protests. This was highlighted by a poll that Change Radio News Online conducted last week. More than 90% of Zimbabweans agree with the idea of peaceful protest for change in Zimbabwe. So as we know, peaceful protests are a legitimate form of democratic expression. And that's what, if Comrade Geza is calling for that, most Zimbabweans are in agreement. Also, secondly, the majority of Zimbabweans, 96%, also agree with that journalists like Dara Blessed Mhlanga who all of us here, I'm sure, enjoy whenever he does a delivery, whether it's interviews or other things that he does. He's a very level-headed, fair journalist, and 96% of Zimbabweans say the police are just intimidating him. The people or ZANU-PF is using the police to intimidate journalists like Blessed Mhlanga. So it's a sad thing that in Zimbabwe, where we talk about democracy, these things are still happening. And that is why youth needs to be more involved, because Comrade Geza, from what I understand, is probably 70 years old. Whether he speaks for ZANU-PF, for himself, or for a faction in ZANU-PF, really the main thing is that ZANU-PF has failed Zimbabwe. And that, when you don't have hospitals working, and we see so many accidents on our roads in Zimbabwe because the roads are dysfunctional and things like that. A government shouldn't be calling itself a government. When we don't have a working currency like we have with ZIG currently, no one should be saying be proud to be in government. Yet ZANU-PF is already talking about extending his stay in office. It's not just about Mr. Mnangagwa. I know that they want us to believe that if they get General Chiwenga or anybody else to take over from Mr. Mnangagwa, that would be rescuing the country. They did that with Mugabe, where they kind of evolved and pretended like they were giving us something better, when it was just the same people wanting us to think that they were going to make the country better. As we all know, since 2017, everything has worsened in Zimbabwe. So basically, I would say that the majority of Zimbabweans agree with a peaceful change in government, a democratic change in government. Some actually say that Mr. Mnangagwa should not wait for 2028. He should leave now. And that is for good reason. We see people or presidents all over the world resigning when things are not going well. Today, we just heard about Ukraine, that the Ukrainian president, Zelensky, is willing to step down if that's going to make peace for Ukraine. That's a very bold step. And here in America, we saw President Biden saying he's not going to seek re-election because the tide was going against him, for many reasons. And obviously now we have President Trump. So I'm saying that to highlight the fact that, change needs.
Possibility of economic and political improvement under the current administration of Dambudzo Mnangagwa? Or is the Vision 2030 made a political spokescript? Do you really believe in that? Comrade Bruce, what's your take on that?
Thank you so very much, my brother. First of all, you see, the government are the people. The people are the government. We cannot have a group of people who don't have the mandate from the majority or from the masses of Zimbabwe to then say they are the government. The first point of call that we need to interrogate is the governance system in Zimbabwe. Who formed the government? From where? When they fought the liberation struggle, our forefathers, one of the key things that they were fighting for was to make sure that one vote is respected. And as a democratic country, as we assume, people voted 2023 on 23 August. They didn't vote for this current government that is there. So meaning to say the current people that are there is a group of mafia looting the national resources in the name of government. The government must come from the people. social. Then coming 2 years old in this office. They are 42 years old. There's nothing new that they've brought into the table. Go to 2013, the 100-day plan of Emerson.
All right, Comrade ZDF, it seems like we are losing Comrade Bruce now.
Yeah, unfortunately, my brother Tanaka would want to hear more from
Comrade Bruce.
Sorry, my brother Bruce, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, am I now audible enough?
Yes.
I don't know when last did you hear me, because I think Yago cut up because of network. If you can guide me.
I think you were saying that ZANU-PF has been in power for more than 43 years and something to the effect that poor delivery of service.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I was saying with these people, they've been in power for 42 years. They promised the people of Zimbabwe so many things. Go to 2018, the manifesto of Emerson Mnangagwa, the 100-day plan. What did he deliver? Free education, he promised, nothing was delivered. 2 million jobs, he promised, nothing was delivered. Proper health sector, he promised, nothing was delivered. Clean water, he promised, nothing was delivered. So these people are just a group of people, a group of mafia, who is there to loot our national resources and to oppress the people of Zimbabwe. So there's nothing we expect from them. And this thing of Vision 2030, I don't think it's a conversation that people must be having in the country. We must be having serious conversation. What is a serious conversation? Let's go to answer the unanswered question of August 2023, where every regional board and beyond, they declared the Zimbabwean election as a sham. Let's start from there. It means to say there's no term of any president, because the election was declared as sham. Number one. Number two, the people that are there, they don't carry the mandate of the people. They don't have the social contract of the people. Number three, the questions, the issues that we are supposed to be addressing is not Vision 2030. It's about vision now. What's happening in people in Mbare? What's happening in people in Kai in Matopo? What's happening in people in Zaramba and Pindura? What's happening to the suffering masses, the young people in University of Zimbabwe? Those are critical questions that we must be answering. What's happening in our health sector? What's happening with the plaster? What's happening in our power sector? What's happening in our water system in Zimbabwe? Those are the conversations that we must be having. If we are telling people who wants to see change and transformation, we can't be talking about the Vision 2030 of a mere comrade who's trying to look for a pension so that he continue feeding his girlfriend and his unending children in this country. I mean, we need to be galvanizing ourselves towards having critical conversations around making sure that we win Zimbabwe for a democratic change, we win Zimbabwe for transformation. The people need genuine promises. What is a genuine promise right now? People want a people's government. People want a people's president. People want freedom. People want a justice in this country. People want economic empowerment. People want development. Those are the conversations that we must be having. We can't be having this 2030 thing of a few comrades from ZANU-PF. I mean, this country is not ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF is not Zimbabwe. ZANU-PF is a faction of individuals, selfish in nature, ideologically clans. So we need to be serious as people. We can't be discussing about 2030. To me, I feel like I can't even have time to discuss about that thing. Where we are coming from in Bulawayo, there's no water. You see, people don't have water for 6 days in a week. You see, there's no employment. Young people are using drugs. That's not the country that our forefathers fought for. Those are the conversations that I think we must be having. So in a nutshell, I'm trying to say there's no promise that we must be expecting to these people, and we need to be talking about how to make sure that we win Zimbabwe for change and transformation.
Oh, the problem with politicians is when you give them time to talk, they make sure that they tell you everything that you want to hear, so that you live with no questions at questions. Thank you, Comrade Bruce. So maybe, you know what, in everything that is happening in Zimbabwe, we can ask the question, what's going on? But we still need to have a solution, right? So, Comrade ZDF, maybe you can help me by answering this. Like, what should be done differently to ensure
a real economic transformation in Zimbabwe?
Thank you, my brother Tanaka. I think Councillor Bruce Moyo said it very well that instead of talking about 2030, whenever we complain about some things, ZANU-PF promises the future. So, for instance, when we saw those cardboard boxes, people who have been involved in accidents and they are using cardboard boxes, to help, stabilize the fractures. Instead of telling us what they are doing today to fix that problem, they talk about takatenga CT scanner deliver parenya for 8 months from now. That's insulting the intelligence of Zimbabwean citizens. So we need to be talking about solutions, and the solutions are there. The solutions are there. The money is there. The money is being misused. So, for instance, let's talk about healthcare and USAID funding freeze. So first of all, ZANU-PF says, we are on sanctions from the US, from Europe and stuff. What they forget to tell the citizens is that the healthcare budget is funded by the same countries that they say are sanctioning them. So I'm saying this to say the solution should be, instead of buying arms of war, because Zimbabwe is at peace. We're at peace with our neighbors until ED started messing with Zambia recently. But otherwise, we are a nation at peace with ourselves and with our neighbors. So instead of investing so much into the military, spending millions of dollars, let's use a few millions that are needed so that we buy ARVs for our family members, our friends in Zimbabwe right now, because if they miss doses of those ARVs, they are going to develop what we call resistance, and some will die. It also means that you're going to spread HIV, because if people with HIV are not getting treatment and they're not getting condoms, they are going to end up with infection. So the solution is very easy. Instead of giving tenders to people like Chivayo in the millions of dollars, we would rather that money be given to the Ministry of Health. I keep referring to this polls that Change Radio has issued or has surveyed. We have surveyed Zimbabweans over a number of issues. One of the issues was, is there any government department in Zimbabwe that you trust? That government is the Ministry of Health. Everybody still trusts the Ministry of Health, beside, even though it's not adequately funded. So instead of those millions of dollars going to arms of war, can we just put a few millions into the health ministry so that we can make sure those people with HIV, AIDS, with tuberculosis get their treatment? That's something that can be done today. Today, Zimbabweans pay an AIDS levy. That AIDS levy is supposed to go towards funding for HIV-related expenditure in the health ministry. What's happening with that money? Where is the money? That money today, not tomorrow, not from any other thing, can be redirected to the healthcare sector. Issue need to raise hell. His medications, my sister, my tete is not able to get their medications, and something can be done today to make sure that those people's health is not risked. So that's a solution, and that would be my solution. And we should also make it such that our health budget is not dependent on so-called partners or donors. We do appreciate USAID, CEDA, and other organizations stepping in. But really, our own government in Zimbabwe should be providing that support. You shouldn't rely on your critical health budget on donations when you are a country which can print money, which can do a lot of other things. But I was just focusing on the health aspect, my brother Tanaka. There's a lot more that we can discuss in terms of solutions. In terms of, just what's going on with Geza, what he's calling for. He is saying what we have now is not working. Instead of talking about ZANU-PF making a resolution in Bulawayo to say, let's extend the term of office or whatever from Mnangagwa, we should be talking about Mnangagwa has failed. We just had an election, but he needs to go now so that we have a government that works for the people. That's a better solution. And we should not send the police to terrorize Zimbabweans who are saying we want better. Whether it's the journalists Blessed, who are basically just conscious to tell Zimbabweans what Zimbabweans are feeling. Why are you targeting those journalists instead of answering the call? Zimbabweans are saying, we're tired of this corruption. We're tired of this abuse of our resources. We're tired of you giving money to entrepreneurs like Chivayos and others instead of having that money going toward healthcare. But anyway, I can go on, my brother Tanaka. Let me stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. You know what? You just touched, in fact, both of you, Comrade Bruce and ZF, you just touched something that was of importance. You said the use of card box in hospitals and so forth. But before we go there, let me just pose one question to Comrade Bruce. You know, Comrade Bruce, we all heard about the old Dara Geza talking about Mnangagwa must step down. Then at first we thought maybe Geza is raising a genuine concern. But then when we heard him saying, I also need to be compensated, the president should give me cars and bodyguards. I mean, the guy is aging up. He's like few meters to his grave. So, Comrade Bruce, do you really think that Geza is coming from a genuine point of view of saving the Zimbabwe from this regime that is in Harare, considering the statement that he said, I need to be compensated? I mean, for how long should these guys be compensated? And also, he said he wants bodyguards to do what? He wants cars to do what? Comrade Bruce, what's your take on that? I just wanted to quickly touch on it so that we move on. Please, you only have 2 minutes to reply to this.
Thank you so much, my brother. One of the first things that I want to say to you is, number one, Geza is just an individual. You see, we have 14 plus million people in Zimbabwe who have a genuine concern towards this issue of ZANU-PF for term extension. So Geza is just an individual who has the right and freedom to comment and to share his opinions and his views. But whatever that he does, as long as it is considered right in the eyes of people, it must be supported. So on a nutshell, I know he's just, the reason why I said he is an individual. It doesn't speak on behalf of the masses of Zimbabwe. It's his collective view with his comrades, which is something that resonates with our collective view as people of Zimbabwe, to say, no, we can't be talking about term extension because there's corruption in the country, there's misgovernance, etc. But whatever that he does in his personal space, like to say, I want bigs, I want my returns, I want cars or etc. I don't think it must be our focus because he's just an individual. It's not a collective view of the suffering masses of Zimbabwe. So what he's saying is just sharing his opinion. Like what I'm sharing right now to say, we can't be talking about 2030 extension of a term that is not there. Let him now go to the people that we gave him power, which is ZEC and Chikuma, and they extended their term in their own constitution there that they use in their secret boardrooms. So that's my opinion. That's Geza's opinion. But it's not a collective view of the people of Zimbabwe. So to say that if he then comes tomorrow and say, give me cars and whatsoever thing, it's just an individual. I think what we need to learn as people of Zimbabwe is, let's not wait for the Messiah. You know, there's no one who will liberate people. People must liberate themselves. How to liberate ourselves? Let's be organized ourselves to ensure and make sure that we understand the critical issues that are affecting us as a people. Let's organize ourselves and call people to order. If we unite as a people, those empowered, they lose their power. We can't wait for Geza to say he's our Messiah. We are waiting for the signal from him. It's a blunder. It's dangerous. It has been proven in the East. So he's just an individual. Of course, tomorrow you wake up being bought by cars. What will happen to the people that you've let hope in him? So just take his opinions as a word of encouragement or others incitement. But it's not a collective view. We need people who understand that they're in a crisis. As Zimbabweans, we need to liberate ourselves. Let's not wait for the messiahs. The individuals cannot speak for the collective, but the collective can influence the individuals to be directed on a certain agenda and a direction. In this case, we are saying Mnangagwa has no term office. So what he needs to do is to market that position that is assuming to be vacant, so that those who are eligible, those who are wanted by the people, they can assume that position and lead this country. That's the whole thing. That's the desire of everyone. You see, so in terms of Keza as an individual, it's an opinion of an individual, which is good.
I understand. I have to cut you, Comrade Bruce. You know, as you are going to conclude on these issues, I would like our viewers who would want to ask questions to Comrade Bruce and Comrade ZDF, you can start requesting your mic to be unmuted so that you can pick. I only want 2-3 questions. But as you are doing so, let's just shift focus to the international affairs. I know you guys, you touched on the issue of cardboards, the issues of corrupt health system, everything that you touched on. But I want us to look at the US funding freeze, which has impacted the healthcare services, particularly the HIV and AIDS and the tuberculosis program. This crisis is like unfolding in an already struggling health sector of Zimbabwe, where some nurses are being paid by the foreign governments and the hospitals are in dire state. Just last week, we saw some reports of some hospitals that are using cardboard, as you said, as plasters for the patients. Imagine, how is the government handling of international relations and public funds contributed to the crisis? Is this handling or this current situation being managed by the current administration? Is the current administration capable of stabilizing the health sector in the system? How will the young people demand government action to address these health sectors? So, Comrade Bruce, as the young people, you work with the universities, you work with the young people across the country, from the high schools up to, I don't know, but I know you work with the young people. What's your take on these issues? Do you really think that the current administration of Dambudzo Mnangagwa can have or can manage the current health system that you have in Zimbabwe or the crisis that you are having? What's your take on that? Just 2 minutes. Comrade Bruce. Oh, Comrade ZDF, you can answer that if he's not there.
Sure. Councillor Bruce, you are on mute. I'm not sure if you realize that. But anyhow, my brother Tanaka, very important question. Obviously, Mr. Mnangagwa and his ZANU-PF government are failing at every turn. They have failed. In terms of international relations, the international relations, they talk about, a friend to all, an enemy of none, something like that. However, when they threaten, neighbors like Zambia, and then every day they are talking about the devil being the United States of America, and yet they rely on these same people or same governments, same organizations to help take care of their people, whether it's food. Right now, Zimbabweans are facing a starvation or hunger crisis, and Mr. Mnangagwa is going out with a begging bowl to say, can you help us? And the same is true for the healthcare system, where we are relying on USAID and other organizations to support our people so that they do get medications in a timely manner, they get tested in a timely manner, things like that. So in terms of international relations, I think that we really, whatever we are doing, if it's not helping Zimbabweans, it's not working. So we have gone to Russia, for instance, and we saw just before the elections last year, they had all these little yellow helicopters, which are supposed to be ambulances. We don't see those carrying Zimbabweans from one neighborhood to the hospital. So whatever they're doing is really to benefit a few people with access to power in Zimbabwe. And whatever international relations we are talking about, there was once a look east policy which Mugabe laid out very clearly. I don't think that they have moved away from that. They tried re-engagement with the West, and that hasn't worked. They even paid public relations firms to try to improve relations with Washington and other Western capitals. But that hasn't yielded results because on the ground, Mr. Mnangagwa and his ZANU-PF have not changed their colors. They are still the same people, the same ZANU-PF cohort. They may change chairs as to who is in charge now. If it's not Mr. Mugabe, it's Mr. Mnangagwa. If it's not Mr. Mnangagwa, it's General Chiwenga or somebody like that. But it's still the same people, the same Dare, when we talk of Dare Kumba. So anyway, I hope that helps answer the question, my brother.
Yes, thank you very much, Comrade ZDF. You answered the questions very well. Now we are diving down to the viewers. I recognize Comrade There is Magara there. Are you there, my brother? You can speak just a minute. Please, we are running out of time. Just a minute.
All right. Thank you, my brother, for this opportunity. I just want to contribute that it is not enough to just cast the blame on the ruling party on the failure of our healthcare system, because we also have a role to play. Number one, we should not just look at the symptoms, because all these pictures of card boxes being used in hospital, it begins with a budget. So we need to look at how much is the current government allocating to healthcare, because this is our money as taxpayers. So that's where we should start. How much was budgeted for the healthcare? And then did they use the money for the intended use? We have to find out from Parliament that we gave you $100 for healthcare. Did you buy plasters? Did you buy the cancer machines? So we should hold this government accountable to the budget that we pass in Parliament. Then the question is, do we know about this national budget as ordinary people in Zimbabwe? Do we know the budget of our country? Do we know the money that was allocated to healthcare? All African countries were summoned to Nigeria, Abuja Declaration. They were instructed that 15% of your national budget should go to healthcare, should be dedicated to healthcare. You know, is that happening? Because there was a crisis before, and it was discovered. So countries were summoned to a meeting. They called it Abuja Declaration. I challenge everyone to Google from their own phone and to check about this. They were instructed, finance ministers were told, whenever you are doing your budget, 15% of that money should go to healthcare, because they knew these crises will arise. And for a country to depend on international funding to sort out your health, Zimbabwe have got a capacity to manufacture their own drugs, all the drugs that we need, be it insulin, be it ARV. Sorry, my brother, you gave me 2 minutes. I don't know if I can continue or stop here, but I'll need more time. Stop me if I'm interrupting with the program.
Thank you very much, comrade. Let me give my viewers. They have a heart, like a burning heart. They want to say something. Let's give him an ear so that he can tell us, he can share with us what he has for us as Zimbabweans. Chief Shows, the time is yours.
Oh, just a moment.
Chief Shows, I need the mic.
Chief, you're on now. You can speak.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Champion Estella. I don't even know from where I'm speaking to, because I know I'm on another gadget, and I'm also on StreamYard. But thank you for the program, and let me begin by paying homage to our champion, Blessed Dara. We stand in solidarity with him as Change Radio. We have already issued a statement to that effect, that the persecution that is being meted to him and other journalists, but in particular to Blessed Dara Mhlanga, that persecution should stop forthwith. Blessed has not committed any crime. He did not do anything wrong. He is exercising his constitutional right. In fact, he is only doing his work by giving Comrade Geza a platform to come and speak to Zimbabweans. So there is no reason why ZANU-PF or the police should be coming after him. And as Zimbabweans, we should be standing with Mr. Blessed Mhlanga, and excuse me. And I call upon everyone, all Zimbabweans, our prayer warriors, to be praying for him, because he is not feeling well right now, but still the regime is going after him. So let's continue to raise our brother in our prayers so that he can recover. But really, he shouldn't be persecuted. He shouldn't be going through what he's going through right now. And Councillor Bruce, I know he is no longer here, but I just want to thank him for the work that he's doing with the other youth, because that is the response that we need to what is happening in Zimbabwe right now. Because we cannot be standing idle and say we want Comrade Geza and others to liberate our country. Like he was rightfully saying, there are no liberators. Liberators do not exist. Zimbabweans have been waiting for a liberator. They want President Chamisa to liberate them. They want someone else to liberate them. But even if someone comes from the moon or from the sun, they are not going to liberate us. The people must liberate themselves. Liberators do not exist. So the response of our youth, that they are going out, talking to the people, educating the people, is what we should be doing, all of us as Zimbabweans. That we know that Emmerson Mnangagwa is trying to extend his term to 2030 or by 2 years. Never mind what he's saying, never mind his pressers, never mind his nonsense that he's going to persuade the persuaders so that they don't persuade him to go to 2030. That is nonsense. He is the president. If he really means what he is saying, he should have called out all the people that are speaking, for him to extend his term. He has not done that. As a president, he should actually have called out that person who said the Constitution is ours. We can, tear it apart and write another one. That's treason. You cannot have an official in a political party or a senior officer in a government talking about tearing up a constitution and writing another one. That is dangerous. So if Mnangagwa was really serious about not wanting to extend his term to 2030, you would have banished that official. You would have said something in public against that official. But he has not done that. So we know that he is definitely going to go for 2030. What do we do as citizens? What is our role? We need to go out there and let the people understand what it means for the 2030 extension. The people in Wedza, the people in Mondoro, the people in Chendambuya right now do not understand what it means. And if we, the citizens, do not educate them and tell them really what it means, they are going to believe the nonsense that they are getting from the 2030 function that says Emmerson Mnangagwa wants to extend his term so that he can finish the projects that he started that he hasn't finished, so that he can finish that road that he was constructing, or he can finish those projects that he said he was going to do that he never did and that he will never do. So they will end up believing that. So we need to go out there and tell them that this is all nonsense. An extension of term simply means an extension of the suffering and the perpetuation of the suffering of the people of Zimbabwe. An extension of the term simply means more looting, simply means more corruption, simply means more corrupt deals, that we see today. Simply means more chivaos, will be out there. So we need to go out there and teach the people and give the people information. And that's exactly what the youth are doing. But we need to do it on a grander scale so that when the referendum comes, because it's going to come, so, and we don't have to wait until the referendum has come and then we start running around and telling the people that you should vote no or vote yes. We need to inform the people now, give the people information so that they can make informed choices. ZANU-PF is doing its work, and they are even doing more work than us because they are in the rural areas right now telling the people lies. They are having rallies everywhere. They are speaking, they have ZBC, they have ZTV, they have everything. They are giving people information, and we need to counter that. We need to give the people the right information, the correct information that will enable them to make a reasonable choice when the time comes. We can support the Gezas. We can get excited about what they are doing. And in any case, what Comrade Geza and others are saying, of course, we support them. We because sometimes an enemy of an enemy can be a friend. At some point, we support what they are saying because they are saying the things that we have always said. So I was saying what they are saying are the things that the opposition, that the citizens have always been saying, that Zimbabwe is in its doldrums because of the massive corruption that we are seeing. So there's really nothing new that they are saying. So we cannot be excitable about that and wait for Geza to deliver independence for us. Let's do our part. Let's play our part. If something happens through the Geza and his comrades, that's fine. But of course, we have already discussed that in another discussion, that we need to make sure that they know what we want as citizens. We need to tell them that they're not going to do the same things that they did to us in 2017, that they use us, and then at the end of the day, they tell us that Chinichedu. So as I conclude, Tanaka, as Zimbabweans, let's teach, let's give people information. Okay, thank you.
And I believe that as the younger generation, we need to be at the forefront of shaping the narrative. We are the ones who should be saying Mnangagwa must go, not to wait for the signal from Geza. What kind of a signal should we get from Geza as the youth? So we need to shape the narrative. So, I don't know. Maybe, Chief, you dropped, but then I think I'll go to Comrade ZDF. Just a minute of closing remarks. Comrade ZDF, just a minute, please. We are running out of time. Just a minute.
Thank you so much, my brother Tanaka. We should have more of these conversations, and I think that everyone who has spoken here, Chief, yourself, Councillor Bruce, and many more, Tatenda, others who would have spoken here, the message is the same. Zimbabweans need to participate in their own destiny. You can't wait for an elderly 70-year-old male guy who is on his way out to define your future. That's not fair, and we cannot allow people like Mr. Mnangagwa to continue to hold on to power so that those thieves around the president keep looting. That's why they want him to stay. Once he goes, they want somebody else who can do their bidding, like Mugabe did. So, in a nutshell, Zimbabweans, we need to stand up. We need to speak up. We can't be silenced when our friends, relatives are dying of HIV/AIDS, which nowadays nobody should die of HIV/AIDS or malaria or tuberculosis because they're not getting treatment. We should speak up today, not tomorrow, which is one thing I took away from what Councillor Bruce said. It's about not Vision 2030, it's a vision now. Why does ZANU-PF always talk about the future, not today? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. As you are closing, Chief, you are still there. I just want to give you a minute for closing remarks so that we can close up this chapter. I want to thank all the viewers, all the listeners. You guys, you're very important. So, Chief, I'm going to give you just a minute to have your closing remarks. What's your last statement that us as the viewers, us as the listeners, we can take back home? The message that we can save, that we can send to our people.
Chief Muripoere.
Seems like we lost Chief.
Yeah, it looks like he's on mute, so I'm not sure what's happening.
Yeah, if you want to speak, you can as well give us your last remarks.
Oh dear. Yeah. Yeah, I think what has been said by Councillor Bruce that we should not wait for a savior to come and rescue us, that it's unrealistic to think that there is any person out there who's willing to just come and do what it takes for me to have a better life and sacrifice whilst I am busy working for my family, then expect that when he has done the necessary and we get a free Zimbabwe, then we expect that we should have our fair share, which is the same problem we've had with ZANU-PF when they say tisu takarwa hondo, so tisu tinofanira kutonga. It's a lesson that we need to learn. Everybody has to play their role in freeing the country. Then everyone will have a right to their fair share. But if some of us think that it is somebody else's responsibility, it's opposition's responsibility, it is Geza's responsibility, it is Chamisa's responsibility, we set ourselves in the same trap again, that if those people should succeed in changing the regime, we are not really entitled to a fair share, because I mean it is what it is. Hapana munhu anoda kushandira kuti tizodya tese equally, iwe usina kuita any contribution. So it's very important that everybody is standing up and being counted and contributing their fair share to this phase of the struggle. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. One of the key points is we need to have the equal share, and everyone has the responsibility. Everyone has to come on board. The youth, the younger generation, come on board. Let's proffer solutions. Come, let's secure the future of our kids. I mean, every revolution came out as a result of the youth. Every revolution came out as the result of the young generation. We can talk of every revolution without talking about the students, without talking about the youth. So us as the youth, we need to come on board, and then we stand with one voice to say no to 2030. You are dying. Resign now. So the key point is, let's come on board, no to 2030 agenda. Thank you very much, our listeners. Thank you very much, our guest speakers. You guys, thank you very much. I salute you.